Dominguez, Long Live Boxing, here with the recap edition. I want to talk about the fight card that happened Thursday in Miami. It is Super Bowl weekend. The Super Bowl is in Miami, so that's where Eddie Hearn and DAZN decided to have this fight card. Demetrius Andrade stopped Luke Keeler in 9. Jake Paul blasted Anderson Gibb in 1. And Ahmed Del Aviv upset Daniel Roman and took his 2 championship belts. But the fight I want to focus on, the fight I want to talk about in this video, is the fight of the night. JoJo Diaz, Joseph Diaz versus Tevin Farmer for the IBF Junior Lightweight Championship belt. JoJo Diaz came out with the decision. Both of these, third time is the charm for JoJo. This is his 3rd time fighting for a championship belt, and he finally pulled it off. Both of these guys have had beef for a while now. I don't believe it's the animosity like Tony Harrison and Jermell Charlo, that kind of level, but a lot of words were exchanged on Twitter, and they actually had a few run-ins in person as well. But I do believe they respect each other. I don't think it's hate. Maybe a little bit fabricated, but They did have a bunch of some beef. JoJo suffered a nasty cut in the 2nd round above his left eyelid, and this was one of the worst cuts that I've seen in boxing. My fear was that it was going to be stopped. I remember telling my compadre who was watching the boxing fight with me that this fight was going to be stopped. I couldn't see this fight going much longer, and I think JoJo felt that because he picked up the aggression immediately the next round. And to be honest with you, I think JoJo probably fought better with the cut. The sense of urgency was there than without it. So JoJo put in the performance that kind of separates you from your contemporaries, and it puts you in the same class as the other Mexican warriors like Barrera, like Morales, guys that fight through whatever. In a sport where quitting is viewed being worse than getting knocked out, JoJo knew he had to continue. Shout out to his corner for maintaining that cut, for keeping it from bleeding, which I know was a very difficult thing to do. Tevin Farmer looked off. He looked weight drained. He kept blinking. So something was either wrong with his eyes. And I know he hurt his right hand in the 1st round. But he made no excuses about it. And that's the kind of guy Tevin Farmer is. I actually had a chance to meet him and interview him. He made no bones about it. He took his loss like a professional, like a man. Gave credit to JoJo, and they're gonna do it again because he has an immediate rematch clause. So, but I believe it probably is going to take some time. That's a nasty cut that JoJo suffered. So maybe look forward to the late fall, early winter. But give credit to JoJo Diaz. I mean, he fought Gary Russell Jr. at a time when nobody really wanted to fight him 2 years ago. Gary Russell won. He was a bit too much for JoJo at that time, but props to JoJo for stepping up and accepting the challenge. And he could have gone an easier route and collecting his championship belt, fighting Rene Alvarado, a guy he already beat. But no, he wanted to fight Tevin Farmer. He wanted a challenge, and this is the kind of champion that the raza can be proud of. When you mention JoJo, a lot of people are going to say, oh, es el campeón que no se raja. That means the champion who never backs down. He fights through whatever, and that's the kind of fighter JoJo is, man. That's the kind of boxer that JoJo Diaz represents. He came out with the Kobe Bryant jersey after he won. The black and yellow, he pointed up to the heavens with the championship belt, and it was a good moment. But that's pretty much all I want. That's pretty much all I wanted to say about that. JoJo Diaz, congratulations. Keep it locked. We'll be recording some more podcasts this week. This Thursday they'll drop over the weekend. We'll be visiting Sweat Boxing Gym with Listo Gaetan, who fights later this month. Keep it locked. Keep it loaded. Long live boxing, baby. Hopper out.